Hey, what's going on? My name is Brett, and I am making this video right now for anyone that has stumbled upon the idea of the 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat and is considering to possibly do it. I want this video to be something where it is as honest as possible of my review of it and whether or not it could be potentially a good fit for you at this time or not. That's really my goal of making this video, so that you have a much better idea of really what to expect from just from my personal experience with it, because 10 days is a long time to be taken out of your life. 10 days, it's a real commitment. But it's been a few months for me since I did it. I did it about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've been reflecting so much over that period, because to be completely honest, the amount of ground and the amount of work that you cover in that 10 days is actually a very short amount of time for how deep that this technique, that this Vipassana really takes you. You go, from my experience, extremely deep within yourself, to the point where it's like, wow, holy shit, like 10 days and I'm already looking at the world in a completely different way. And so, would I recommend it to everyone? And the answer to that is honestly no, because I do believe that if everyone in the world, if they do this and they actually make it through the 10 days and they get to the other side of it, then yes, the world would be a completely different place in a matter of weeks. I honestly do believe in that. However, it is the hardest thing that I have ever done in my entire life. It was the most brutal, challenging thing I've ever done, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything. You are completely broken, from my experience. Like, that's what it really does, because when you take 10 days out of your life and remove everything, like no reading, no writing, no talking, obviously, no eye contact even, you're taking everything away and you're left with nothing but yourself, nothing but the own thoughts in your head. And it can be a pretty scary experience if you've never done anything like that. Like, if you've never meditated or anything like that, it can definitely be a really scary experience, because you're facing stuff that you didn't even know that you had within you. When I say you, I'm talking about myself, through my own experience through it. You're facing all these demons, all these like, shit just starts coming up that you never even knew was there. But it's an amazing thing, because when it comes up, it allows you to actually acknowledge it, and then face the fears and acknowledge those things that you have within you, so that you can actually work on them and then fix them. And so that can be a really interesting thing for people that don't have too much experience with meditation. However, if you are completely fresh to meditating, I do think that it could still be a good option, a good fit, if you have the right mindset going into it. Because when I was going through this 10 days, there were people that dropped out simply because they weren't able to handle it, because you really are being pushed to the extremes. And I'll get into the physical stuff in a little bit, because the physical pain that you experience because you're sitting cross-legged that entire time, that's a really important part of it. But if you don't have the proper mindset of, basically the mindset that you need going into it in order to have success with this and to really get the most out of it, because for me, This was by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it is by far and away the most rewarding thing, absolutely game changing experience that I got from it. And so the mindset that I would tell myself if I were new to this and doing it for the first time would be that no matter what happens, no matter how bad this is, no matter how bad my mind is telling me to stop, I'm just gonna keep going. That's it. Because I will not lie to you, it was every single day. Every single day, the thoughts would pop in my head of like, I'm just gonna run away. I'm just gonna run away. This is too much. This is insane. What am I doing here? Why did I sign up for this? Like, I'm torturing myself. Like, why am I here right now? And then I just kept coming back to it. Like, just, you're here right now. You signed up for this. You committed. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. That's really what helped me keep going. So if people do decide to commit, basically my recommendation would be just to commit. If you're gonna decide to do it, just no matter what happens, just do it. Just see it through, because after those 10 days, it is going to be the most incredible, life-changing perspective. The world doesn't necessarily change, the way that you view the world will fundamentally be changed forever from my experience. And so a big heads up that I want to give to anyone that's watching this is the physical pain part of it, because for me, I meditated for a few years, and it's something that doing something like this is always something that I've really wanted to do, because meditation's been really key for me, really important for me. And when I meditate, though, I am sitting nice and comfortable in a chair, upright, very comfortable position, as relaxed as possible. And it sounds completely naive to admit this, but when I got there to the Vipassana retreat, I had no idea that we were going to be sitting cross-legged for the entire time. And I played baseball growing up. I was a catcher, and so my knees are just destroyed from all those years. And so this was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, I sat down for the very first meditation, and we were only going like 10 or 20 minutes or something like that. But I was at the point of, during that very first meditation, first time ever sitting cross-legged to meditate, I was at the point of just tapping out, wanting to quit right then and there, day one. And that's how much, that's when I realized, like, oh my God, this is going to be a really interesting 10 days. I don't know how I'm going to make it through this, but that's when it first hit me of, you know what, Brett, you signed up for this. You're going to find a way to see it through. No matter how excruciating the pain is, you're going to find a way to see it through. So if you have experience sitting cross-legged, or if you don't have experience cross-legged, I would extremely highly recommend to start doing that now. If you're really serious about doing this, I wish that I would have known to start preparing my body physically. My knees, like I said, were pretty bad because I was a catcher, playing baseball growing up. But I later found out around day 4, day 5 that the pain was actually a really important part of the whole process. And so basically, my recommendation to you, if you are serious about doing this, is to just start preparing your knees, your legs right now. Just start meditating cross-legged. Just start preparing yourself, because it's going to be 10 or 11 hours every single day for 10 days of sitting cross-legged meditating. 10 or 11 hours. It's very taxing on the body. It's a very physically demanding thing, and that's something that I wish I would have just known about in order to prepare myself a little bit more. And so for me, I would say, now in terms of, is there anything else I would really recommend for people considering this right now? I would say that would really honestly be the biggest thing, is the preparation in terms of the sitting cross-legged, and just so physically preparing your body, sitting cross-legged, and then number two is the mindset of just no matter what happens, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, no matter what my mind starts telling me, I'm gonna see it through. Just having that, you'll learn as you go through there the difference between willpower in like forcing something versus genuine power that comes through relaxing into whatever activity you're performing in life. So for me at first, it was really that willpower, that no matter what happens, like mind over matter, like let's do it, like I'm mentally strong, yeah. And as you go through it, you'll learn through yourself that there's something much deeper and much more powerful behind the willpower of just, I'm going to do this no matter what. There's something where you can actually relax into whatever it is. And so for me, I don't want to give away too much of what exactly you'll learn through this, but to give you an example of how truly life-changing this was for me, was the biggest thing that happened to me personally through this 10 days was it was around day 4, day 5 or something, where I was just in so much pain, because for me the pain, it wouldn't get any better. Like it would actually get worse, because it was the knees, it was the lower back, it was the upper back, it was the neck, it was everything. And I thought I was the only one suffering through this. I learned on day 4 or 5 that the pain is actually a really important part of the process, and that everyone else is suffering through this pain too, because 10 or 11 hours, no matter how physically good your body is, 10 or 11 hours, you're gonna be feeling something. And so I basically learned through the process that they teach you through this meditation technique, which is Vipassana, that any sort of sensations that come up, like physical pain, for example, my entire life changed when I was at this peak excruciating pain level, like 9 out of 10. I was crying while I was meditating. My entire body was sweating. I was just in such bad shape, and I was just wanting to quit, and I was just wanting to give up. And I won't get too much into the details, but they start teaching you through the technique of how to actually observe those sort of painful feelings as completely objective, completely neutral occurrences, completely neutral sensations. There is no real meaning behind a painful sensation. There's no real meaning behind a pleasurable sensation. Maybe you're getting deep into a meditative state and you've got all these pleasurable feelings going on. There's no real difference between that pleasurable feeling and a painful feeling. The only difference is how the mind interprets it. That's really the big key right there. And so through the technique, if you can actually learn to acknowledge something like physical pain, if you can learn to acknowledge it and observe it as a completely neutral occurrence, there's no real meaning, there's no real pain involved, there's no good or bad, it's just a sensation, a strong sensation, because physical pain, it's like, oh my God, that is a sensation that's happening right this second. But even though that's a strong sensation, that's all that it is. It is just a sensation. And so I was at this point where I was at 9 out of 10 pain, and I'm like, okay, they're telling me that this pain isn't real. Yeah, whatever. Like, they have no idea what I'm experiencing right now. I'm crying right now. I'm crying from pain, and I was broken at that point physically. Like, I did not know how I was gonna physically be able to continue the next 6 or 7 days, however many days it was at that point. And so I was physically broken at that point, and I was like, screw it. You know what? They're saying that to treat this pain as something that doesn't exist, something that's just neutral occurrence, whatever. Let me try to use the technique that they're teaching me through this. Let me try to just observe the pain as just a completely neutral sensation, no real meaning to it. And since I just surrendered that much to the idea, since I was broken, I surrendered completely to it and just gave it my all. The 9 out of 10 pain just completely vanished. Just as if it were completely magic, this 9 out of 10 pain that was making me cry from physical pain just vanishes, because I learned to control how my mind interprets physical things within my body. And so when that happened, when that 9 out of 10 pain just vanished like magic, that's when my entire life changed forever, because that's when I realized, okay, that physical pain right there, that physical excruciating pain, if something is seemingly real is what I was just experiencing, if something like that isn't even real and doesn't even really exist, that pain, what else isn't real? These thoughts, these feelings, these emotions in our head, that's nothing compared to what I was just experiencing there. So that's really when my entire life changed, was that deep internalization of, wow, there's a lot in this life that I can control, a lot that I can control, and it all starts with the mind, because it doesn't matter what is going on the external world. Nothing in the external environment, in the external world, truly does have the power to touch you on the inside. Nothing going on the external world, no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstance is, has the power to make you happy or unhappy. In Western society and in America, we're very much trained. Well, this is the entire world, actually. We're very much trained that when I accomplish this next thing, then I will be happy. When I get this next thing, then I will be happy. And that's true to a certain extent, because when you do get that car, when you do get that thing that you want, that house, the watch, whatever it is, you will physically, chemically in your body, you'll be starting to release those serotonin, those dopamine hits that'll be good in that moment. But how long is that really going to last? A day, a week, month? It's going to fade. And so the really big thing that I learned from myself here, and this is something that words don't teach. This is only something that you can really learn from personal experience. So I hope you're getting value from what I'm saying so far, but it's truly something where you have to experience this feeling in order to truly understand it. But what's going on outside of you in the external world, it really doesn't have the power at all to make you happy or unhappy, because all that happiness only comes from within. If you're waiting for that next thing, if you're waiting for the next car, promotion, whatever it is, to be happy, to give yourself that permission to be happy, then you'll constantly be in that cycle. You'll constantly be in that cycle of wanting the next thing, and then I'll be happy, and then, oh, I'm not happy as much anymore, so I'll wait for that next thing, and then, oh, I got it, oh, no, oh. You'll be constantly trapped in that cycle, versus if you can learn, and it's way easier said than done, way easier said than done, but if you can actually learn to control how you're viewing the world, how your mind is interacting with the world, and how you can actually control your internal state of being. If you can control that, that's when life really starts getting better. That's really it right there, because once you realize that you're the only one that can truly control your happiness, not the thing, not the person, not the relationship, not your boss, nothing. You're the only one that can truly control your own happiness level. And me going through that 10 days, going so deep inside myself, that was just something that I internally realized deep down to my core. And it's something that, like I said, easier said than done, but you see that it is so entirely possible to truly, that is when you can truly live in a state of true inner freedom, is when you already have everything that you ever possibly need within you. Now, there are things that we want, material things, which are fantastic. I still have big goals and a lot of things that I want to accomplish and get in this life. But I'm coming I'm coming at it now from a place of not, whereas before I was coming at a place like, oh, I need this thing in order to be happy, and I need this thing in order to be fulfilled and satisfied and happy with where I am. That's no longer the case. I'm looking at all these things that I want and want to accomplish, not in the sense of something that I need to be happy, but if you can really truly work on, and I'm not saying that I'm there, but if you can truly work on getting that place where you really are at that 100% happiness level at all times, that's when you can approach life with a cup full mentality, and you're just overflowing. You're just overflowing with love and appreciation and gratitude. And so for me, my personal interpretation of gratitude really means where your cup is already full. You're already happy. You're already good with life and how you perceive the world. And so when material things, when relationships, when things start coming into your life, if you've got that cup full mentality, and if you know that nothing external can touch you inside, that's when you can truly appreciate all the things that do come into your life. And that's when you can truly accept them into your life with gratitude and none of the neediness that is attached. I need this thing to be happy. It's the opposite now. It's I'm already good. We're already good. And so when this thing comes, it's just going to be a cool material thing that will come into my existence. And that's great. And let's experience it. And let's enjoy it. And that's really, for me, that was one of the deepest lessons that I really learned about myself through this 10-day silent meditation. So those were my biggest takeaways right there, my biggest realizations, the biggest lessons learned that I had, and also the two big things that I wish I would have known beforehand to prepare. One being, if you're serious about this, just start meditating cross-legged right now. Start preparing your body physically for this, because no matter how much preparation you're going to do, you'll still feel it after 10 or 11 hours meditating for 10 days. But, the more that you can do to prepare your body physically, the much better off that you'll be. And number two would be the mindset, because it's not frowned upon, but it's something where, since you can't talk during the whole 10 days, when people start leaving, like quitting, that's when people start wondering what's going on, and oh man, can I do this? And so if you really feel like now is the time and now is the opportunity for you to really commit to this, I would say just fully commit to it. No matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how much pain and suffering you might be going through, just stick it out. Just see it through. Make it happen. Because I promise you, if you make it through those 10 days, your life will forever be changed. I can promise you that. So I hope this video was very helpful. I don't really make too many videos like this on YouTube or wherever it's going. So if any other questions, just feel free to comment, and I'll be helping out if I see the notifications for it or however it works. So I hope this video was very helpful. Best of luck along your journey. It's very much a lifelong journey. And so, yeah, best of luck on your journey. Enjoy. Bye.